What's up, John Sonmez here from SimpleProgrammer.com. I'm in Switzerland at Lake Geneva again. Just finished my run on a Sunday here. Incredibly beautiful scenery. I'll give you a little peek. Really quite amazing. It was a nice place to run. I decided to come out here to do the 2-hour, 10-mile run here while I'm traveling. I've cut my running down a little bit, down to 1-hour runs, or basically like 5-mile runs twice a week, and then 1 10-mile run on Sunday, just to keep my fitness level. Because it's a little bit crazy trying to do 4 10s while lifting and traveling Europe. But so far I haven't really missed a workout. I've had some patched together workouts, but so far it's gone good. Anyway, today I wanted to do a video talking about this idea of basically becoming an observer in your own life and treating yourself as an observer to reduce emotional investment and involvement in topics. This thought came about from a couple of different things. You know, usually I find in my life that multiple threads seem to come together to the same place at the same time in order to reveal something, some kind of truth or something that I end up doing a video on. So a friend of mine on the Onto-Programmers group, you can check out the Onto-Programmers podcast. It's a weekly podcast that I do. It's a video podcast, actually. We do it live every Friday. And a friend of mine, Chuck, on there, he was talking about just being kind of distraught with all the crap that's going on kind of politically, and there was this whole Google manifesto thing, which I haven't done a video on yet, but I will. Obviously, you know what my view on that is. Come on. Do I really need to do a video? I will, though. But he was pretty distraught with all these things and the fighting and people taking their sides and not really changing their viewpoints. And I could tell it was working him up and it was making him almost, seem exhausted. He felt like he was burnt out. And I got to realize that, I'm capable of the same thing. It happens to me from time to time. I have to consciously, actively detach myself. So what you can do is, is to view things and view life and view things that happen to you and things that happen in the news and media from an observer viewpoint, not as someone who has stake in the game, right? So even though you might have some stake in the game, especially for bad things that happen in your life, you need to view it as you're watching a movie, as if you don't have a huge investment, right? You don't have a stake in it. Instead, you're the observer. And this is, one of those advices that you hear about, sort of Zen kind of meditation type of, power of now. Basically living in the present moment, which is this idea of, observing yourself and your emotional state, and this is one of those things where it's like, you try to control your emotional state, but that's a little bit too difficult to do. You can't really control it, but you can observe it, and when you observe it, you see what's going on, right? So at any given time, when you treat it as an observer, you're not invested, okay? And that allows you to let it go, it allows you to change it, allows you to alter it. I was in that podcast I was talking about, there's an Einstein quote, and he says that the same kind of level of consciousness that created a problem, it can't solve it, right? It takes a higher level of consciousness to solve it. He said the quote more elegantly, I'm sure, but that's the gist of it. And that's so true, right? And that's why it's so important to be an observer. So practical, let's get to the practical and pragmatic side of this. What does this mean? This means that when things are happening in your life, you need to observe what's going on, right? Not from a person who's holding the lottery ticket watching the balls drop, but from someone who's like, oh, this is entertaining, this is a movie, or this is something that's going on, this is something that's happening right now. And when you approach things from that perspective, then you're one level above it, right? You can have the clarity to now decide how to act and how to respond instead of reacting, right? The reaction is an emotional reaction. So when you're at that level of something bad happened to you, something you didn't expect, something angered you on Twitter or Facebook, and you react to that, what ends up happening is that you're not in control of that. That is you. I like to do videos on freedom. Check out the playlist on freedom. that's you giving up 100% entirety of your freedom and you going into program mode. You're just auto-responding, essentially, running the program. And it helps also to think and to realize that most people in life are running programs. They're not intentionally doing things to you. Life is not intentionally stacked against you. It's just running an automatic program. We have to, our subconscious has to control a large portion of what we do, otherwise there'd just be too many decisions. We can't make decisions all the time. So the key, to changing your life is to realize that one, that you're running a program, and if you can be an observer, then you can tweak the program, right? You can observe it from outside and say, okay, I didn't like my emotional reaction so much. I accepted it. It was valid. It was all right. It happened. But I didn't like that reaction so much to that event. How can I alter that in the future? I didn't like that action that I took. I didn't like that thing, right? And not really, owning it, not feeling like it is you. It is just something that you did, or something that you experienced, or some state that you went through at that given time. And if you can do that, then you can alter it. You can change it. And as you build new habits, right? You're essentially altering the program that you're automatically running. So there's the observer mode is really conscious mode, right? It's like it's like root, right? It's like meta mode, where metacognition, where you're above that level. Most of the time, most of your life is going to be running in the subconscious, right? The automatic mode. But you have to become the observer when you want to shell out, right? You're shelling out, and you're basically observing what is happening in the system, and that's the only time you can change the system, right? Otherwise, you are part of the system. So you got to think about that. And like I said, if you're really getting upset by politics, by things that are happening in society and other people and things that are happening, events, you got to learn to practice the art of detachment, which starts with observation. Observe what's happening. Don't try and deny reality. Accept reality. Accept what's happening at the given time, and decide what you think about it. Observe it. Watch it without judgment, so that you can have a clear understanding of what is occurring, and then make your judgment, and then go ahead and change that reality. All right, so that's all I got for you today. If you like this video, I'll make sure you click that subscribe button below if you haven't already. I'll give you another quick view what's going on here. All right, click that subscribe button. Make sure you click the bell so you don't miss any of the videos that I do here, especially as I'm traveling Europe. I'll talk to you next time. Take care.